there was checking for understanding of do they know what they were doing? Do you a lot of times, and it's real common in activity-based classes, somebody will read it, the teacher will read it to you and then go, does everybody understand? And as soon as you say, does everybody understand, they're all going to say, yeah, they understand. But what he did and what I've seen a lot of you do instructing is, okay, tell me what I just said. Tell me what was, but if you ask, does everybody understand, then you've lost your mind because not everybody understands. And just, we all know that, but that's the kind of thing, the transitions from starting your lesson to your bell ringer to getting into the assignment to, okay, now we're passing out stuff, you're getting your own stuff. One of the things that I had said to him, and you guys already know it, but I'm just saying it anyway, when you're doing activity-based stuff like that where there is a pool of things to draw from, if you send one kid up to the table, to the resource table, you might want to have somebody as the gatekeeper at that table. Because specifically when you do manufacturing things where you say, okay, we're all making the same item and we all have to have the same amount of stuff. Great example, making those little marshmallow towers with spaghetti. There's a thing in there that talks about you only use 10 inches of tape or 5 inches of tape. Well, I turned around in a middle school class one time, turned around and here comes a kid with about 5 yards of tape. And his was going to be the strongest, he assured me of that. Well, he got to sit down for a while. But that being said, that's a monitor your materials and be sure that, if they're all making the same product, that's something. Obviously this was a custom thing, so it was freewheeling. It was also adults that he could trust weren't going to be throwing Oreos or putting icing on each other's neck.
That's what you think.
Yeah. But I mean, you know that from middle school and high school, even high school kids. Next thing you know, somebody's got a wet willy with a bunch of icing in his ear and he's mad. He wants to fight. So, but the frequency of checking for understanding was good. I think that's real critical. It's easy to overlook with us. It's real easy to overlook with us. It was developmentally appropriate, and it did hit state standards. He did use math that was age level appropriate. He did, cooperative learning, working groups, and that sort of thing. That's all part of the middle school standard stuff. And then lastly, like I said, he used at least 2 different types of summative assessment. So, that's what we need. So, all right. Any comments for him, or are you just going to journal them out? Doesn't matter to me. And like I said, remember, folks, we're going to put these lesson plans, we're going to bind them. So everybody's got a pool to draw from and take. So if you've got a bunch of materials, or if you do the lesson and you want to take the lesson stuff with you, and then bind it up and then get it to me, and then I'll get it to the UCASE office lady, and she'll get us because like I said, we're going to make binders of them. So everything, all right, we're good to go, man.
Ken, would you pass this out? So last week we talked about building materials, concrete and steel and whatnot. Today we want to talk about skyscrapers. What is the largest freestanding building in the world? And in the U.S. and in our own city of Indianapolis. So brainstorm, think about it, by yourself, in pairs, come up with the answer. What's the largest building in the world, in the U.S., and in Indianapolis? Tallest skyscraper. You might be surprised what the tallest building is, because it's changing every year.
There was one quote.
Yeah, there's a range.
But I think I passed it up. Let's find out.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, the Sears Tower's tall. But there's another one that went up in the west. Sears Tower was
Well,
No. Empire State hasn't been tallest for
used to
Years and
just
years.
flip-flop them.
We're two spires. Fireworks off.
Here in Indy, you have like
Either Sears or no, Bank, used to be Bank One.
One America,
in Indianapolis.
Or American.
One America.
One American.
The Willis Tower, which is formerly the Sears Tower because it got renamed.
No kidding.
That's the
Oh, that's right, I knew that.
But everybody still calls it the Sears Tower. It's the tallest according to
Okay.
all the trash.
What was it called? Version of the world? It's kind of short name. I forgot how you know it.
So do we have answers?
Burj
Yeah.
Khalifa. Burj Dubai.
Yeah, I just.
All right, here we go. We got
So what's the tallest building in the world?
the Burj Dubai.
In the United Arab Emirates?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then for
Tallest in the US?
Sears Tower.
Yeah.
Formerly
The building
Sears
formerly known
Tower.
as the Sears Tower.
Right.
And then what about here in Indianapolis?
The One American, or One American.
No,
It's either that or the Regents.
Looks
it's the Chase Tower.
Chase.
Chase.
That's what used to be
The
Bank
one,
One, right?
One America's next.
Ah,
Oh,
okay.
you can see
But the
it's
Chase Tower is the tallest in the
Windy.
That's what I was.
That's the
thinking
one I
about.
was
What?
Yeah,
describing.
it has
One
49
American.
floors.
The One America is the like shuttle shaped, like
I had.
Yeah, I wouldn't actually.
So with
Definitely.
with the internet, you guys can find the answer, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't have known.
Oh, no. I knew the Burj, that was it, that was it.
we would have probably argued about the US for a while.
Yeah.
So in today's lesson, we're going to talk about the history of tall buildings, and then we'll talk about the obstacles of building tall skyscrapers, and then we'll build our own tall buildings with spaghetti and marshmallows. Okay? So if you look at this picture here, kind of looks old, maybe a few hundred years old. But the earliest tall buildings were made of stone. Obviously, the materials they had at hand. But what do you notice about these buildings? How tall do you think they are?
Under 100 feet?
Maybe 50 feet, maybe 5 floors,
That one in the city looked kind of tall.
maybe.
Well, maybe 8 or 10
You got this little house in the front.
What else do you
Five
notice?
stories.
Are there lots of windows or just a few windows?
Just a few.
Just a few windows, because of course we're building with stone, and windows just wouldn't work. It would make the structure weak. And also notice that the foundation is going to be big, wide, to be able to support the weight. Let's look at the next building technique is the flying buttresses. Cathedrals and churches started building the flying buttresses, as you can see here. And what technique is it using? Looks like it's supporting from the side. And this allowed for the heavy stained glass windows that the churches had. The first modern day skyscraper is this building here. And just by looking at it, you might think it was built in the early 1900s. But it was actually built in 1885 in Chicago. It's the Home Insurance Building. And if you look at the terms on your sheet, this is a good example of redundancy, because the steel beams are placed close to each other, and it has more steel beams than it needs, so that if one were to fail, it'll still stand. They commented on how the room tubes in the windows were cramped because the steel beams were in the way, just so close together. And that building actually was torn down in 1931. And we know that the Empire State Building was put up that same year. It was finished in 1931.
Do you have any more?
Were there any left over there?
Yes.
Looks like I had several.
That's yours. I thought I had more. This is,
Here, we
Carol,
can share,
okay. I want some more.
so you can follow.
So what advantages does steel give over stone and cement?
It's stronger.
Stronger in relation to how heavy it is. Obviously, steel is heavy, but because it's so strong, we're able to build taller buildings.
More flexible.
Okay? Yeah, because if you tried to have a rock or concrete as long as a piece of steel, you know, that rock is just gonna crack and break. It's not gonna give like steel would.
It can be fabricated to unique shapes.
Exactly. And that kind of leads into an obstacle that we face when we're building skyscrapers is wind. Where's the Sears Tower?
Chicago.
Chicago, and Chicago's known for
You're getting windy others.
all that wind, right? And so skyscrapers, buildings over 200 feet have to be 50 times stronger than buildings that are 200 feet. Sears Tower is over 1,500 feet. That's how many football fields? Five football fields. And when you compare the tallest building, it just dwarfs the Sears Tower. Because here it is, well over 800 meters. And then we have the Sears Tower over here at 527 meters. So clearly not twice the height of the Sears Tower. But, I mean, this new tallest building is just, not just a little bit taller than the rest of the buildings, I mean, it just blows everybody away. This is an actual picture here. But it looks like a bunch of tubes. And that's another term we have here, the bundled tube structure. That's what makes the Sears Tower so strong, is that they have the steel beams around the perimeter of the building. And so that is like a tube, in the way of how the steel is around the perimeter. Another technique to withstand the wind is the tuned mass damper. Now, that doesn't really sound intuitive of what that is. Any ideas what that might be, a tuned mass damper?
Yeah, it's basically a giant counterweight that is suspended somewhere at the top of the structure and basically maintains the center of gravity over the center of the structure even as it moves.
Exactly right. Did you read the definition?
No, I like that one.
Maybe you could think of it as if you're walking in the wind, you know, if there's gusts of winds 30, 40 miles an hour, what do you tend to do to try to walk in the wind? You lean forward. So this tuned mass damper, that big weight at the top of the skyscraper is going to move forward, in a sense leaning forward to counteract that wind that's hitting the building. If we look at the Petronas buildings, that used to be the tallest buildings since 2004, up until 2004. But you notice how they're rounded cylinders, and that helps it, the building to withstand the wind, deflect the wind. What's another obstacle? Ground soil. When we're building these tall, massive, heavy structures, we can't build on the sand, can we? Otherwise we'll just sink. So we either need a huge foundation, like snowshoes in snow, to stay on top, or we've got to drive steel piles, concrete, down to the bedrock. And there we'll have good footing to be able to build such a heavy structure. Let's go ahead and you can take a look at the other terms there that we didn't cover. Let's go ahead and start our building activity. And what you're going to do is plan out, you can do it by yourself or with a partner, but you're going to plan out how many pieces of each item you're going to use to build your structure. What we want to do is build the tallest skyscraper, okay? What we have is large marshmallows and small marshmallows and spaghetti, okay? And if you notice on your sheet,
Sean Hughes, if you're in the building, come to the front office, please. Sean Hughes, come to the front office.
our total budget is $375, and you can, make that trillions of dollars or billions of dollars, 3.75 billion. The small marshmallows cost 15 cents a piece. The large marshmallows, 25. The spaghetti, 10 cents, and the base is 55 cents. So you're going to have to think of the combination of what you want to use to stay under budget. Budget is $375. Okay, and when you have your plan, you can come up and buy your materials. Now remember that depending on demand, prices might go up, they might go down. Just like gasoline pricing.
We doing this individually?
You can do it individually. I have 7 bases here. So there's, 6 of you? So Buckwalter can even tackle this one.
I think I'll probably tackle it. I don't know, maybe 1,000 times. I know the danger of the spaghetti.
Do you have a hotline?
Ferguson does.
Yeah.
He cut them for me.
That's cool.
Only Siemens would recognize
Fly
our
radio
hotline.
control airplanes.
Oh, I know,
So we cut airplanes out of this stuff all the time. So, but yeah, definitely know what those little hairs are.
I know.
So you might want to write it down on paper so you can see mathematically if it all adds up to 375.
I did, but I just,
And you don't have to buy everything all at once. You can come back after you've purchased some. Actually money to give me? No, just gotta have a way of keeping tab here.
you want me to write it up?
Just so that you stay in budget. So go ahead. Mine is not broken
No, I mean, if it breaks one, we'll
up. Broken ones are still usable. should have got fettuccine.
The thick spaghetti does look better than the thin, trust me.
Maybe it won't break in season.
You'll see.
Maybe if we added water to the equation, we could buy, twist them up.
You put those away, I use them as dry bowls.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't even tested this out. And it was just, yesterday or Wednesday, that I got these basics. I was gonna use like bread or something.
Or high school, or adult.
They just want to do it, they don't want to do it in half.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you accept returns?
Yeah.
Defective, faulty product.
Or just stuff we didn't need? Unused?
Oh, you mean unused items?
100% restocking fee.
Maybe your competitors will buy.
50 cents on the dollar, you get.
That's why they call us boomers. Resources.
Come on.
Yeah, maybe the large marshmallows aren't as advantageous. Or maybe if you cut up or tear up the large marshmallows, you can get more sticky.
Shh, that's my idea.
Well, it's all our work. We get plenty of budget for that.
I love that too.
There's still 2 minutes. So much for the video.
Would you let him use computers? Ask them what's your top rating for that? Would you let him do it? Use computers?
I guess if they were readily accessible.
Well,
Because, off the top of their head, probably
They're
can't
gonna
make
make-
any
exactly.
building.
Well, that was my point too. And if they didn't have, what we might do is have some kind of handout that said, that told the history of some structures and what you did going back, ancient stuff. That was good. I mean, that kind of, in a nutshell, them understanding, and then materials and process, in a, in a 6th grade class, I don't know what grade you would do this with. I mean, I think I did it in 7.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Oh, does it?
Well, and this lesson was doing the newspaper towers.
Oh, really? Yeah,
To
exactly.
withstand the wind, blow it down.
But
for them to understand the properties of the materials, because that's kind of part of construction and it's part of manufacturing. For them to understand properties. That's what I did is I read believe it or not,
Doesn't know about blue foam because it has grain.
there's a book called The Real Story of the Three Little Pigs.
I don't know if that helps
And
anybody
it's
out or
kind of
not.
comical, but it talks about,
It has
it
grain.
talks about,
So if
well,
you're
he
trying to
used
stick your
straw,
stuff in your
well,
base
straw was no good because it wouldn't hold up the
with your
wind.
grain.
And ultimately, he got down to the last page, and he gets his like verdict. So it takes about 8 minutes to read, it's real quick read, but the sixth grade ate up every bit of it, and you can use some kind of funky narrative, every now and then you can have your own little, voice or whatever to make it amusing for them.
Trying silly
But then
experiment.
they're getting the idea of properties of materials, and it just, whatever, the last year, I think I read that, I think the movie Titanic came out, and I said, well, no doubt I would have been on the bottom floor, so, but I guarantee you with what I know, I assured them whatever floor was going in the ship, I'd have been tying together some wooden tables because I know they would float. And so you're actually, using real life stuff, saying, watch it land float down a creek, so it's porous, it holds there, concrete won't be that,
Looks like 3 floors is the one to be.
Fail.
Your butch, or your damper is kind of lean too far.
Me? Oh, well, I was trying to put them preloading into the beams so that they would have tension on them to start with.
Preloading beams, I love that. I think that's when we were talking about the tube deal, the damper, that's what I was thinking. It was making me think of pre-stressed beams and concrete.
I'm going back to low tech.
Looks like Daniel's the only one with cross beams.
I had some abandoned in that direction. And they were completely engulfed in their marshmallows. Anybody want to trade some smalls for a large? I think I'll just start snipping.
Have you seen construction stuff?
Squaring up the
Oh, you're missing it.
I guess.
No, Frank's gonna hurry.
Spaghetti price has gone down.
Yes.
It's only a nickel.
Frank's gone.
Why so pasta?
3 times 5. Yeah, nobody wants pasta. It's going down. I think we might.
I might as well
have
quit
some-
one behind here.
Yeah, sort of in that
There's a
situation,
point of
too.
no return with this, when you get to certain